All right, everyone, welcome to Street City Studio. I'm John, and in this video, we're going to do something a little different. We got something a little special today. Some of you guys know I bounce around some Facebook groups, and I get a lot of inspiration, a lot of laughs and smiles from Facebook toy groups, and lately I've been seeing a lot of posts that really tickled my fancy, I guess, got my attention. I don't collect a lot of vehicles specifically, but I saw these posts with a lot of jokes and a lot of banter back and forth about motorcycles, and I do happen to have a good handful, at least, of motorcycles. And so I thought today we would take a look at my little garage of motorcycles, as it were. Now, I included a few things, but we'll get to those as we go. But you guys know who you are. I don't like to name a lot of names without permission and stuff, but there's a group over on Facebook. It's a 3 3/4, 4-inch customs and vehicles. It's kind of a long name. I think I butchered it even, but you guys know who you are over there. With all these bike jokes, Blue Jay and James, and probably others that I'm going to forget. I'm not even going to name, I'm sure. But I've been getting a huge kick out of these jokes and these small stories that they make with their photos, right? And they're basically playing King of the Hill, is my understanding. I tried to ask some questions too, but apparently they're playing a bit of King of the Hill with their motorcycle collections, and so I thought I'd throw myself in the mix and show you guys my motorcycle collections here, right? Now I'm gonna have to get this out of the way, and I have an idea here. Pull this right out. I just thought that'd make a nice intro. Like, this is my garage control bay or whatever. But we're going to take a look at some of these motorcycles, and I've gotten a little loose with what I consider a motorcycle here, but we're going to take a look anyways, right? And we'll just go through them one at a time, I suppose, right? Probably one of the more used in my photos and just setups and stuff is this old-timey kind of motorcycle, right? Kind of has a World War II vibe, right? Whatever. I'm not any kind of historian or anything, but I tend to use it for Indiana Jones photos, that kind of thing, right? It's I'm trying to think. It was came with those World Peacekeeper sets, just like all the barrels and crates I use, right? The little fence pieces and stuff. And it's not the most detailed, but structurally it has the right shapes and everything. It looks good, I definitely have more detailed bikes, but it tends to get a lot of use. And if you guys are looking closely, one of the other bikes that tends to get the most use out of these is this Punisher bike. I really like this Punisher bike. Not just that it's a Punisher bike, but just the style of the bike too. That's a good mix somewhere in the middle between a crotch rocket and a hog, It's kind of the hybrid. Or not even a hog, dirt bike, somewhere in between a street bike and a dirt bike, really. That's what I'm trying to say. Next up, right? I've used this one a couple times, but probably not as much as some of these other ones. Nice little roadster, right? Hog, whatever you call it. more of a muscle bike instead of a street bike. I like it, Tend to give that to like characters like Wolverine or something if I need a. Oh, there goes one of them. Had to happen sooner or later. Might as well be sooner. But next up, right, we got a G.I. Joe bike there with the sidecar. Now, I think this gun's really too big, and so I'll usually take it off. But just for the sake of it not getting lost and stuff, I do keep it around. But some of these G.I. Joe spring-loaded guns, like this, it's got this spring-loaded scope on top here. Push down on it. But we won't spend too much time complaining. I just take it off. And now there were a couple bikes, too, that I wanted to include, but for whatever reason, couldn't. There's at least 2 bikes. There's a Snake Eyes bike that I couldn't find, but I'm sure I have. And there's also a Wolverine X-Men bike that I got from my brother that I've been cleaning up, and it still has some paint on it. I haven't finished cleaning all that paint off. So I would have liked to include those, but I couldn't. But we'll move right on. Right next up, we got the Captain America bike from, Age of Ultron, I believe. Yeah. And now, I like this bike, but it's so big compared to, if you compare it to some of these other ones. It's like a small car. It's huge. But that Captain America was rather large, too, if you compare it to the other figures. He's bigger than Iron Man. He's bigger than other Captain America figures. He's bigger than Thor, even. So they weren't very consistent with their scales, especially towards the end there. When they were dipping into the live actions, they got a little bigger than the figures they had just put out. But whatever, But next up, we got some Batman bikes here we're going to look at. Pretty pleased to have some of these, right? This is the Ben Affleck Batman from the Flash movie, right? The beginning of the Flash movie bike, and I quite like this bike. I really wish the panels came up like they did in the movie, but it's a nice looking piece, and it wasn't expensive, so I don't mind. All right, it looks good enough for the price I paid. And now I've got 2 of the Bat Pod tumbler bikes, right? I've got this one. And I believe this one comes from the Bat tumbler, the Batmobile tumbler vehicle. Yeah, it would fold up around it and pop out. And I also have this one that came with like a back alley kind of set, I believe. It came with Bane and Batman, and I think one of those tumblers, right? But I like the other one a little better because it's all black. It doesn't have these funny looking gray spots like this one. And this one has this clip to hold the figure on. So I really like that this one just looks like the movie, The more accurate, the better. But I had this one long before I had the other one. I got the nicer one from my brother's stuff. If you follow me, I got some good stuff from my brother not too long ago. Some good videos if you want to go back and watch those too. I recommend them. But we'll move on, right? Now I included some bicycles here. I've got several bicycles. Now this one's missing its handlebar hand grip, but I do have it. I saw it somewhere, I don't know, 2 months ago or something. It's in one of these boxes, and I thought about leaving it out of the video because I couldn't dig around and find it right this moment, but it's here somewhere. So, but I thought about not including it, but I figured why not? It's not a big deal. But I got some bicycles, and I like to use them when I can. Right? Sometimes they're just props in the background even, and that's fine, right? You need stuff like that. Right? Now, another prop motorcycle that I really like. This one doesn't get quite enough use. This one is from a Superman set from the Superman movie toy lines. And, geez, I really couldn't remember which one specifically, but I really like the way this thing rips apart. I like to give it to a Hulk or somebody. And I was even thinking about doing some shots with it here soon. Maybe some Hulk ripping it apart, Superman ripping it apart, whoever. But it's a cool prop, and I don't use it enough. I like it. It's very playable. It's very fun. And it looks good, you know. It doesn't look, even if you wanted to stick a figure on it, it doesn't look, it's a little flat and thin, right? But it's almost enough to call a full motorcycle, you know. And so I'm including it right here. It's included, right? Because it really, it doesn't get enough screen time. It's a good prop. It's a good accessory. When I remember when I saw it in the box, I was like, oh, I'm getting that. That's cool. I don't even remember what the Superman came with it because I didn't buy it for the Superman. I bought it just for this, right? That's a cool accessory. More strong guy characters need to come with stuff like that. That would be really cool. But we'll move on here, right? We'll go on this side here. I got 2 of these Scout speeder bikes from The Mandalorian, right? Here we go. Oh, it's getting caught on the ceiling there. Close it up. But I figured with the speeder bikes, you need 2 of them, right? At least. Right. Unless you're just doing IG-11 and Grogu scene, right? You can get away with just 1 for that. But for those scouts out in the desert, you need at least 2, right? And so I got 2. I had 2. Oh, almost stand right. There we go. Let's get this one back in there. But we can move on to this side here, right? We got the classic indoor Scout Trooper bikes. Oh, getting caught just like the other side. There we go. But, I mean, just like the other 2, you need 2, if not more, right? But two's the minimum, right? Because that whole scene revolved around a chase. Can't have a chase with 1 bike. So, I don't know if you guys count the speeder bikes, but I definitely count them because they have that same appeal, right? It's the same. They're very motorcycle. I mean, I don't even have to explain that, I'm sure. But they're very motorcycle-ish. So, they're getting included. But we can move on so we don't spend too much time on speeder bikes, per se. Another one, right, that I'm not 100% sure if it counts, but I definitely wanted to include it. I didn't want to leave it out, right? It's a quad. Now, I'm a big fan of this toy here, and I believe it comes from the World Peacekeeper sets, just the same as a lot of the stuff I use. They did some good stuff. They're doing some good stuff at a good price. Right? That's a nice quad. And I've had several quad toys over the years, but none of them were quite as perfect as that one, I think. Right. Next up, I got a dirt bike. And I have no idea where this is from, Hot Wheels, or I don't really know, right? But it's nice. It's a decent quality. You know, it's got the shock, the working shock. I like that. And actually, it might, yeah, the front too, right? The front too, and the back. I don't mess with the front as much. And it has a stand over here somewhere, just like this handle. I know it's here, but it's got a little square stand that it stands on. But I don't know where it's at the moment. It's in one of these boxes. Right? But last but definitely not least, I think, right? I don't even know what to call this thing other than the Hot Wheels. But this thing, man, this thing's impressive. I don't even know what to call that engine because I'm not a car guy, right? But that's like a V12 or something, isn't it? A V24 or something. I don't know. I'm not a car guy. One of you guys can let me know, I'm sure. Right? But you can count them, I think, right? And then get to how many cylinders it has. But it's like ridiculous, right? It feels like one of these Batmobile bikes or these Batman bat cycles, like just a jet engine in it or something, right? It's very sleek, kind of sturdy looking design, like a rocket or a missile or something, right? But I like this bike a lot. I haven't taken many pictures of it because I don't know where it would fit in, maybe a James Bond kind of thing, you know, but especially because of the Hot Wheels is so front and center, it's not going to get as much screen time. But I definitely like the design and the shape. It feels like something you would see in an action movie. Feels like something you would see in a superhero movie, you know. But I mean, I think with that being said, it'd be time to wrap it up here because, like I said, I got a couple more bikes that I wanted to include, but they ain't making it today. Maybe on another day. But while I got it, I'm gonna claim the top of the hill here, and I'm sure I might lose it quickly, but I'm claiming the championship, right? Let's see you guys' bikes knock me off this hill. Like I say all the time, keep playing with them toys, guys. I appreciate it. It's fun to see. That being said, though, if you want to follow me on Facebook, you can find me on Facebook at John Wayna, Wayna. If you want to check out my photography, you can check out my photography on Instagram at Street City Toys, not Street City Studio like the channel here, but Street City Toys. But otherwise, keep playing with them toys. I appreciate you guys watching my videos and hanging out with me. I'll talk to you again real soon.